Welcome to On the Air with Gloria Hass, the Interdimensional Intuitive, and thank you for being here. Before we get started, I would like to thank our sponsors. UFO Symphonic Journeys into Sound explores the language of music and its relationship to the mystery of existence. A collection of many voices, UFO Symphonic sings like a choral symphony. UFO Symphonic suggests that music is a form of highly complex communication. Is music one way in which the past, present, and future are attempting to communicate with and through us? UFO Symphonic takes the reader on a journey into the impossible. UFO Symphonic will be available in February 2025. You can pre-order it now, and the link is in the description.
You wake up, heart pounding, drenched in sweat. A feeling of the strange blankets you in dread. A figure stands beside you and vanishes before you can make it out. It's 3:43 a.m. again. Why does this keep happening to me? Follow as long as I, Tim Caney, share my experiences with the strange and paranormal in my first book and memoir, 3:43 a.m. Awakenings of an Experiencer, available on Kindle and Amazon today.
We are thrilled to announce that ticket sales for the 2025 Full Disclosure Now conference at the stunning Serrata Beach Resort, St. Pete Beach in Florida are officially live. From July 15th to 18th, 2025, prepare to immerse yourself in a Star Trek-inspired future where truth, connection, and personal growth converge. Join us for our 4 incredible days and nights of groundbreaking discussions, inspiring presentations, and cosmic connections as we boldly explore new frontiers together. Secure your passage now and be part of an experience that's out of this world. You can find ticket information at fulldisclosuremovement.org. Please check out the affiliate links in the description. The views and opinions expressed in this show or comments on this channel are those of the guests, sponsors, or authors, and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this show or channel's broadcaster. All information, content, and material of this show or channel is for informational and entertainment purposes only and are not intended to serve as a substitute for consultation, diagnosis, and/or medical treatment of a qualified physician or healthcare provider. Also, the content is not intended to be treated as legal advice, nor is any attorney-client relationship created therein. All material in this show, video or audio, is the intellectual property of Gloria Hass. Books, images, or other suggested media is used by permission or endorsement through Gloria Hass by the guests, speakers, or sponsors of the show. This video and audio were produced in its whole by Gloria Hass and is intellectual property of her. Any unauthorized use, partial or as a whole, is strictly prohibited. On this episode, we have Kayse Gehret, and she is one of the most highly regarded, sought-after guides for the medicine of the moment, microdosing earth medicine practice. Microdosing is the practice of taking small sub-perceptual doses of psychedelic mushrooms medicine for healing, spiritual development, and personal growth. Founded in 2020 and grounded in a nearly 3-decade career in the healing arts, the Microdosing for Healing platform, program, and community has served over 1,100 plus diverse individuals around the globe. Welcome, Kayse.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. And thanks for saying, hey, let's do this. Before I start your reading, I'm curious to know how you got started with microdosing. Would you please explain that to me and our listening audience?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I am like one of the least likely suspects to be doing this work today. My childhood friends that grew up with me, I wanted to be a doctor growing up, and I was a total kind of straight kid. And so today that I'm working with psychedelic mushrooms is humorous. So as you said, I've been in the healing arts for almost 30 years now. I had healing art studios, and I've studied lots of modalities, a lot of somatic practices and body work. And doing high dose psychedelics was always just a bit scary to me. I had a grand mal seizure disorder for many years. So my brain was already kind of quite sensitive to things. So that was not on, on the menu for me. And I met someone who introduced me to the idea of microdosing, which is taking a very small subperceptual dose of mushrooms. So you're not tripping, you're not going anywhere, with the idea being of accruing the benefits without losing control and staying in the earth realm. And so I tried it. I didn't really have any expectations years ago. And lo and behold, my seizures stopped immediately. I became more creative. I became more uplifted in mood. And just over the course of this next several months, just a whole host of benefits came in. So when my studios were closed in the pandemic, I thought, what can I do? We can't touch people. We can't gather. What can we do? And so I put together a program and community for people to practice microdosing together in a group experience. And fast forward now almost 5 years. Yeah, we've been doing it together and it's been remarkable.
That's great. I had never heard of microdosing before, and that's interesting because when you first told me psychedelic mushrooms, I'm glad you explained that, you're not tripping, it's just very small amounts. And from what you had just told us, it has quite a bit of benefits, especially with people who've had seizures. And wow.
Any kind of nervous system dysregulation. So many of our symptoms and our disorders and our diseases and our addictions are due to underlying nervous system dysregulation. So once you heal that, a lot of our symptoms and disorders just cease.
Interesting. Well, let's get started with your reading. And like I said before the show, I will ask about someone, and to me, the reader, it doesn't make sense, but to you, the receiver, it may make sense. And then I start getting these visions and I just write them down, and I'm not guaranteeing 100%. I've been told 98% accuracy. So we'll see where this goes with you. I'm curious. Okay, the vision I had was where I saw a man who might have been considered an outcast. I now see him gathering with his family as a father figure to him is sick. Does this represent anyone in your family?
No one living, but perhaps someone in the past.
Okay. Or it could be for the future. Or it could be actually for somebody else you may know, or for someone in our listening audience. So I'm not going to put boundaries on it because it wasn't sent to me with boundaries. Okay, I had a dream and it was really interesting. And I had to go find a dream analysis. This woman is moving, packing up what she can carry with her. She slips in the mud, decides to go forward with dirty clothes, picks up, and she can only take what she can carry, and picks up, buys 2 folding tables, asks someone to help her, and then she's in a shower, falls asleep, and someone wakes her up by knocking on the door because it's a community shower, and she apologized. But this is the what the dream represents. And there is possibly a transition or change in your life. You're moving from the familiar to the unknown. You're possibly deciding what is truly important to carry forward to this new phase, like practical or foundational aspects of life. You have a need for support or collaboration in your endeavors because a person cannot always manage everything alone. There will be setbacks or challenges during this transition, and you might feel stuck or overwhelmed. And you have the choice of going back or determined to go forward and push through the challenges without retreating or giving up, even if it means dealing with the messiness of life. Your internal dialogue could be one where you tell yourself to be patient with yourself, and you might be desiring a cleansing or renewal, which is being delayed or complicated by circumstances. And this could also possibly extend to your clients who are seeking a cleansing or renewal. And during this process of change, you could find yourself exhausted or overwhelmed. And this would be a good time of rest, or avoid confronting certain aspects of this transition. There could be people who are being inconvenienced, and you could be wondering how others are handling your transition. You might have guilt about this, or concern how your journey might affect those around you. Does this resonate with you at all?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Would you like to explain?
Oh, on a lot of levels, but on a physical level, I moved from California to Florida a year and a half-ish ago, and intuitively, energetically, was kind of called to leave here. And I feel like my time here now is coming to a natural end. And a lot of things have started to happen to kind of push me out. I was hit by a tornado in October. And ever since then, like every other week, there seems to be something that's like, it's time to go. It's time to go. It's time to go. And I leave for Egypt in a few weeks. So I'm heading to Egypt for most of the next month. And I'm really looking to that as a transition portal to hopefully help me get some clarity on, again, do I go backward and do I go back to California, or do I go on to someplace new that I've never been before?
That is exciting. Egypt. So you can basically you can only carry what you can hold.
Literally. Quite literally. Yes.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That is just really interesting.
I think the community shower that you were referencing is actually the Nile.
Well, don't fall asleep in the water.
Will do.
Okay. Well, that's when are you going to be leaving?
February 7th.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So that's only not that far ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I wish you the best with that, to see where Egypt, if it's, going to be your catalyst for your jump off point for something completely different. Because the energies in the country I hear are, the ancient energy, and the people with respecting that energy, it just moves, with all the years of people being there and the wisdom, and that is really cool. I had another brief vision for you, and I saw the delete key, and there may be things in your life that need to be removed. Mm-hmm. She's shaking her head. Yes, this is all audio.
Oh, yes. Yes. Okay. I mean, that's a process that's been going on for the last 2 years. Yeah. And I feel like it's kind of coming to the last part of that cycle. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. This is all that I've picked up. And when you had said that you wanted, to have the reading. So do you have any questions? Do you need clarification about anything? Or?
Thank you for asking. Yeah, no, it's really affirming. Change, I feel like I'm going through, but so many of my clients and in my community and people in the world are this year. It's all about that. I think all of us are kind of in a portal of transformation right now. So hearing what you shared is very affirming, because it's never easy, and it's always dirty, and it's always a little messy. Right. And it also comes with a lot of self-doubt too, and sometimes it's do we go backward and do we stick with what has been because it's familiar to us, or do we push through and be courageous enough to deal with the unknown going forward? So that's affirming. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Because like you said earlier, there's always messiness in life, but it's easier, I would think, to get through the messiness when you're staying in the same country that you've been residing, and you don't know the messiness that may happen when you say, I'm staying in Egypt.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So that's all that I have for you for your reading. And
Thank you.
you're welcome. And I just wish you the best on your endeavors and your trips.
Thank you.
And if you think about it, send me an email as to where you might, land or come back on to share your experience with us. A follow-up, that would be great.
I'm really looking forward to it. One of the things that happened, I think I was drawn to Florida, not to be in quote unquote what we call Florida, the human part of Florida, but the land here and the energy here. As soon as I got here, my connection to my own spiritual connection to my guide just blossomed 100-fold once I got here. And so that I feel like that's why I was meant to be here for a time. And it was that intuition and that being that has drawn me to Egypt at this time as the next place. So I'm very much trusting that over the next few months, I'll be told where to go next.
Yes, because I feel the energy with you in California is a bit stuffy.
Really? Yeah, that's useful. I think I would inquire. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nothing against California. I grew up there. So.
Well, it's interesting. It took me about 6 months to be in Florida where I could feel my nervous system relaxing to another level. I was like, I'm pretty calm. Like, can I get more calm than I already am? I can. And I didn't realize that in California, even though California has the stereotype of being very open and progressive, it's also filled with a lot of people always telling you what to do about everything. Especially when you're in the healing world and the spiritual worlds. And you don't really realize it's there until you're in an environment where you don't have, you're just kind of free to be you and do your thing.
Not all that energy coming at you. Like you said, you're able to breathe and relax.
Mm-hmm. So the word stuffy is interesting to me. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you.
There is either a child or a grandchild who has been away from the family because of their misdeeds. It's either the father or the grandfather. It's some paternal figure in this person's life who is in the hospital. And it's time for you to go back. You will be welcomed with open arms. You have been forgiven. It's time for the family reconciliation before this paternal figure passes. He wants you to reconcile with him before he goes.
I had a vision where a man who traveled numerous times to a foreign country invited his wife to go with him. He seemed to be very happily married. She was happily married with him. And when they got to the country, it was extremely hot. She was uncomfortable. There was a group his employer had set up where they could meet with someone from the United States who is also in the country on assignment and have a get-together so they could feel comfortable in a foreign country. During this trip, the woman found out through her husband's invitation that he had been having an affair with one of the local women and her husband. Of course, the wife was extremely upset, and she hadn't realized that there was some underlying issues and disconnections with her marriage. And her husband said, no, we're fine. He didn't realize he wanted something new until it was in front of him. And it was very alluring and different. And he was upset that she wouldn't join in And she asked him, "Are you going to give her up?" And he said, "No, but I want you to join in with her husband, and of course me." And he said it helped relieve a lot of stress from the job. And then he became addicted to it, but it was only when he went to this country and saw this woman and her husband that it was like he was addicted to her. But he also wanted his wife, who he's loved for many years, to be transparent and honest with her. And he was more upset about the fact that she wouldn't join in with him than that his marriage was going to be over, because he refused to give up this lifestyle and was thinking of coming to this country on a permanent basis instead of for a month. And she went home and went to her doctor to have her health checked out for any transmitted organisms. And that is where the vision ended. It's a picture. That's an art picture of a skull. It's not a real skull. It's, somebody.
My name is Katherine.
Hi, Katherine. My name is Gloria. How are you doing? I don't understand when a spirit shows that they are there through like an EVP meter with words, or through a spirit talker, why people want them to move a ball or turn a light on and off. They've already proven that they're there.
Many.
Yeah, many of them do that. I'm not buying any cat balls for people to roll. I'm not going to get a REM pod for someone to set it off. I'm not going to ask anyone to turn a flashlight on or off. I just want to know if you need any help. I enjoy the company of the nice spirits.
I've been here 500 years.
That's a long time. Wow. When did you pass? When did you pass the physical realm this last time? Have you been a spirit for 500 years? You've seen a lot happen. There are a few of the spirits who like to play with the back of my hair on the back of my head, right around my neck area. They like to flip it, and it
She
tickles.
scares people.
Who scares people? I scare people? Usually when they say she means me. Oh, I can be scary I get upset with the spirits who are not nice and I kick them out. Unless you're referring to someone else. What's the name of the woman you're referring to who scares people? If you mean me, then just say the word you. Here's some history and background on the Pioneer Hotel. In the 1920s, one of Tucson's wealthiest men and owner of the Pioneer Hotel was German-born Albert Seinfeld. In 1872, he was 18, and he came to Tucson by way of stagecoach to work in his uncle's mercantile, Zeckendorf's, a large one-story adobe building situated just west of Cali Real, which is now known as Main Avenue. After 12 years, Steinfeld set out on his own, and although in the decades that followed, he amassed a lot of mining and banking interests, the core of his business was in downtown Tucson, Steinfeld's department store, located at Pennington and Stone Avenue, which is next to the Pioneer Hotel and is now known as the Bank of America. In 1929, when Steinfeld was 75, he and his son Harold built the Pioneer International Hotel on Stone Avenue. At 11 stories, the hotel became Tucson's tallest building and one of Tucson's first high-rise buildings. Pioneer Hotel opened in 1929 and became the social center of the downtown business district, catering to the city's social elite. It was the place to be seen. Tucson's largest Kiwanis and Rotary clubs met there, and the Cleveland Indians stayed in the hotel during spring training. Shoppers from Phoenix and Sonora flocked to the Pioneer because it was across the street from two of Tucson's leading department stores, Steinfeld's and Hockamay's, which was located where the main library is today. Well-known and prominent Americans were guests at the Pioneer, including football great Knute Rockne, Liberace, Eleanor Roosevelt, Western movie star Tom Mix, President Lyndon Johnson, and cowboy philosopher Will Rogers. The Spanish Revival Hotel was designed by local Tucson architect Roy Place, who was the chief architect for the University of Arizona from 1924 to 1940. The hotel displayed ornate stone facades and an atrium, as well as boasting the largest ballroom in the United States. Promotional material assured guests that this elegant modern hotel, which cost about $1 million to build, was fireproof. A special newspaper section on the hotel's opening proclaimed the hotel a crowning achievement in the annals of Tucson's civic and commercial growth. On December 20th, 1970, at 12:19 a.m., emergency dispatchers took 3 calls reporting a fire at the Pioneer Hotel. Firefighters originally believed the calls to be false alarms until they saw the orange glow across the downtown skyline. At 12:22 a.m., 3 fire engines and 2 ladder trucks arrived on scene. They called for backup, and 15 minutes later, Tucson's entire arsenal of firefighters, consisting of 11 engines, 4 ladders, and 5 medical rescue trucks, totaling 203 firemen, were battling the inferno. At the time the first alarm sounded, there were more than 700 people in the hotel, including more than 350 people who were attending the Hughes Aircraft Christmas party in the hotel's large ballroom. Most of the hotel's guests made it out safely, however, 29 did not. Among those who were unable to escape are Harold Steinfeld and his wife Margaret, who at the time lived in the hotel's penthouse on the 11th floor. The open stairwells acted as chimneys, allowing the fire to spread quickly to the upper floors. The carpets, wallpaper, and holiday decorations burned like kindling. Unfortunately, because the fire department did not have ladders tall enough to reach the upper floors, rescuing those guests were impossible. At the time, their ladders at 100 feet could only reach the 8th floor. As a result, guests fashioned ropes out of sheets and blankets and clambered down the windows, with few making out safely. The sidewalks were covered with the crushed bodies of others who, out of desperation, threw their mattresses from the window, hoping they would land on them after jumping 100 feet in the air. Although many children and elderly burned to death, most died of carbon monoxide poisoning. Harold and Margaret Steinfeld died of smoke inhalation. Guests of the hotel, bystanders, and employees tried to extinguish the flames, while others assisted the firemen with getting injured onto stretchers and out of the still burning building. One such individual was 16-year-old Lewis Taylor, who is thought to have started the fire. And he has been released many years later after spending most of his life in jail. Now, this next segment is with a spirit who apparently stayed at the Pioneer Hotel, or he just resides there now. I'm going to do something different, and it's because I was speaking with a girlfriend on a Zoom call, and I had my spirit talker up, and app. There we go. And one of the spirits said, I know you, and she lives about 7 or 8 miles away from me. And I was wondering, are there any spirits here who know the Pioneer Hotel in Tucson, Arizona? And that's like not that far, maybe 3/4 of a mile from where I live. So I'm turning on Spirit Talker to see if they recognize this hotel. And this is the outside. It was built in 1929. Well, there are spirits here. Do you recognize the hotel? Is anyone here? I do get spirits of children coming through here, and children did die in the fire of the Pioneer Hotel, which is very sad for that to have happened. Well, let's go to the next picture. This is the grand entrance to the hotel. From when it was built, you can see the old style cars and the beautiful architecture of the columns and outside the front of the hotel.
Imagination.
Yes, the person who described, the person who did the architecture or had a vision for this did have imagination. And this is the lobby. Were you ever at the hotel? And the voice you heard is the spirit coming through and using the voice my phone uses. This is the ballroom. Very large room. You can see stairs going up. And they also had some tables on the upper tier up here. Some things like you would see in a movie. Oh, you're an introvert? Would you like to communicate with me, please? Have you ever been in the ballroom? Have you ever been at the Pioneer Hotel, which is located in Tucson, Arizona at 100 North Stone?
Gabriel.
Hi, Gabriel. Were you ever at the Pioneer Hotel? And this is the pool area. This is what it looked like. They have now cemented this in, and it no longer has this little bridge, because skateboarders come in here and use this as a ramp, and it's a liability issue. And some people have purchased it.
Positivity.
Ah, yep. Positivity. You're a very positive person. Yes, and swimming can be a very positive time. Were you ever at the pool? Is any of the spirits here ever been to the Pioneer Hotel? It was a positive atmosphere from what I hear. And this is what it looks like, the outside of the hotel, the dining area, I guess, what it might look like now. And I've never been inside. They have certain floors closed down. Be interesting to see what renovation they're going to do with it. And that's what it looked like after the fire had occurred.
My happy place.
I wonder if your happy place is at the Pioneer Hotel. Tell us more, Gabriel. Back to the lobby. Was your happy place the swimming pool or just staying at the hotel? You can see the devastation. But he calls it his happy place. It doesn't matter what it looks like to them.
She's over there.
Who is she? Yeah, there is a woman over here and another woman over here. See the pool in more detail. Do you have anything else you would like to tell us, Gabriel? There's another door here and more tables and chairs up here. Another room back over
Renewal.
here. This was a place you would get your renewal? Wow. That's really cool. Yeah, people get renewal by eating food. So this is where you got your renewal. Wow. Here's more of a view of the lobby. Did you like going into the lobby, Gabriel? There's a clerk back here. Old chairs with fringe. And I wonder if that moves around and rocks back and forth like the more modern chairs. See more of the architecture.
I was a witch.
You were a witch. Wow. How long have you been in spirit form? It takes a lot of energy for them to speak and to perform any tasks. Thank you, Gabriel, for the conversation. And thank you for coming out of your introvert state, being shy, and speaking to us about the Pioneer Hotel being your happy place. I hope everyone has enjoyed this segment of On the Air with Gloria Hass, and I will do my best to have more of these little snippets and sequences of the different areas of old buildings and possibly haunted buildings, to see if the spirits where I am recognizes the place or has even been there. Please like, share, comment, and follow or subscribe, depending on what platform you're listening and watching this on. If you would like to be notified by email of when the next video comes out, please send me an email, and the email is listed in the description. And I promise I won't spam you with other things. You will just get notifications that the show is out. So I won't be sending interim information out, like getting 3 or 4 messages a week. 4 shows of On the Air with Gloria Hass and 5th show of Monthly Predictions. So that's 5 emails a month. So I hope to hear from you. On the Air with Gloria Hass, the Interdimensional Intuitive TV and radio show calendar for 2025. Our Sunday shows are January 19th, February 2nd, February 16th, March 2nd, March 16th, and March 30th. All shows start at 8 a.m. Pacific Time, USA and Canada. Our Tuesday shows are January 7th, January 28th, February 11th, February 25th, March 11th, March 25th, at 3 p.m. Pacific Time, USA and Canada. You are invited to come into our virtual studio at these times and have a free reading that will air on social media. All calls are pre-recorded and the audio is distributed on social media. You are consenting to a free reading without financial compensation, and you have given permission to using your reading for the show. If you're interested in being a guest and being put on the notification list so you can join us in our virtual studio, send an email to Gloria Hass, the number 5. That's GLORIAHAS as in smile, S as in smile, and the number 5 at gmail.com for the web browser link, which will be sent a day before the recording of the show.